Hello, it's Eloise, and today is my Genshin Impact favorites video, which is technically a part 2 to my spring and winter favorites video, but I didn't want that video to be like 2 hours long. So that's why I split it into 2 videos, also because a bunch of people probably don't want to hear about my Genshin favorites, but did want to hear about my other favorites, so decided to split them. So this is that video, because I just have too many things I want to talk about in regards to Genshin Impact, because it's like all I've been playing for the past 6 months. In order to give this video some semblance of structure, I've divided it into 3 sections. So the first section is Gacha Luck, the second section is fun updates in progress, and the last section is important updates and reactions. So because this video is stretching all the way back into my winter favorites for Genshin Impact, not only my spring favorites, we go all the way back to the beginning of December. And at the beginning of December, like December 9th, I pulled my first 5-star character on the standard banner, and it was Kuching. And it was so late when I pulled her, like at night, and I was not quiet. I shrieked when I pulled her. I was so happy, because out of all of the 5 stars that you can get on standard banner, Kuching is by far the one I wanted the most, so I was so happy when I pulled her. And for a little bit, because my main team at that point was, I think it was Lumine, Chongyun, Barbara, and Lisa, and for like a little bit after I pulled Kuching, I kept Lisa on the team, but then I think I hit a point where I had built Kuching enough, and I was kind of just like, I like playing Kuching a ton, and I do like playing Lisa, but I was like, Kuching needs to go on my main team, so I put Kuching onto my main team, and she's still there. But I'm so happy that I pulled her. It's Kuching's the best. I don't know exactly how to explain why I love Kuching so much, but definitely one of my favorite characters in Genshin Impact, and I'm very glad that I have her because she's very fun to play and she makes my team look very aesthetic and nice. After my Kuching escapade, or whatever you want to call it, I don't think anything exciting happened in regards to pulling, because after that there was Ito's banner, and Ganyu and Xiao and Shanhua, all those banners, and I didn't pull on those. My brother did, but I did not pull on any of them, because the great characters did not want any of them for my roster at all. Also, I was saving up for Venti at that time, so I wasn't about to just be like, Zhongli, and then use all of my Primo gems to get Zhongli and then not get Venti. But Yaimiko's banner came around, and did not want Yaimiko at all. Did not want her. But Toma was on that banner, and I didn't get Toma on Hutao's banner, even though I tried. So I decided that I was going to pull on the Yaimiko banner until I got Toma. And luckily, I eventually did, but unfortunately, or what I thought might have been unfortunately, I ended up pulling a 5-star on that banner before I ended up pulling the 4-star, pulling Toma. And it ended up being Kuching. I ended up losing my 50-50 for Yaimiko to Kuching, which is absolutely a W in my book, because I did not want Yaimiko and I definitely wanted Kuching, so I was able to get C1 Kuching and also Toma. And also, I was able to get Fischl, who I'm pretty sure I didn't have at that point, so I finally got Fischl. And I dodged Diona, because Diona had been on the last banner that Toma was on the Hutao banner. And so I ended up getting both Sayu and Diona on that banner, but no Toma. And this time I was like, oh, Diona's back on the same banner with Toma. And I was so worried that I was going to pull a Diona constellation, and I didn't. So, definitely, the greatest, luck I could have on that banner, because it could have gone horribly wrong. And also then I got, guarantee for Venti. So that made everything even better. I got Kuching, I got a guarantee, I got Fischl and Toma, and no Diona, no Yaimiko. You know how they tell you to, never pull on the weapon banner? Because it's a scam and you should never pull on the weapon banner? So, I kind of pulled on the weapon banner. And so, I kind of wanted 4-star weapons, but I also kind of wanted 4-star characters. And I ended up getting a 4-star character. Twice. The only constellations I think I've ever gotten of Bennett, or at least the first 2 Bennett constellations I ever got, were both on the weapon banner. How the game knew I wanted Bennett and just gave it to me when I finally wished on the weapon banner, I don't know, but it happened. So I finally got Bennett, and I'm very glad that I did, because Bennett's great. It's one extra person off my 4-star checklist of characters I want. Also, in regards to the weapon banner and like 5-star weapons in general, I don't exactly remember when I pulled some of these, but I have pulled some 5-star weapons from the weapon banner, and I've been so lucky. Because, so like I pull on a weapon banner for the 4 stars. I've never on purpose been pulling on a weapon banner just because I want the 5-star. There have been 5 stars in weapon banners that I've been like, oh, if I were to get that, I'd be fine with that. But I haven't been like, oh, I'm spending my Primo Gems on this weapon banner for this weapon. That's a 5-star. But I ended up pulling to pity on the weapon banner for whatever reason. I don't exactly remember. But it was the weapon banner that had something else and the Jade Cutter, and I got the Jade Cutter. It could have gone so wrong. Not only did I, like, win the gacha, but I, like, super won it, because I could have lost it to the other upped 5-star, or I could have got literally any of the other 5 stars that are also quote-unquote on that banner. So now I have the sword, and it's on Kaya, because I'm crazy and won't put it on my actual sword DPSs that I've already built. But Kaya's holding on to it, and one day I will build Kaya with the build he deserves, with the weapon that I'm not planning on taking off of him anytime soon. And the other weapon that I definitely pulled within the past 6 months was absolutely a mistake. Because I pulled on the weapon banner that had Elegy for the End. I was just pulling once or twice to get to my next 4-star weapon, because I was like, weapons are always good. I'm pretty sure there was some good 4-star weapons on there. So I pulled, and I got Elegy for the End at like 9 pity or something. I didn't mean to, but I got it like really quickly. I forget if that actually is the pity number, but it was like 9 or 11 or something. It was way too early. I didn't want the weapon necessarily. I wasn't planning on getting, because I could have gotten the Haran or Elegy for the End. I don't think I would have put either of them on anybody. I don't have anybody who Elegy for the End is good on, except for Venti, technically maybe, but I don't want to put it on Venti because I put all my resources into a different bow for him. So now I have an Elegy for the End sitting around, and my brother won't let me hear the end of it. Wait, I just looked at my notes. I said I got it on 6 pity. That's even worse than I thought it was. Oh no. I'm sorry. I have like chronically good gacha luck on Genshin Impact. And it's becoming an embarrassment because I just want my brother to have any of my luck. And I keep taking it away from him. Every single time. It keeps happening. I'm so sorry. Brother, if I could give you my luck, I would, but it's not working as well as it was supposed to. So, whoops. All of these stories about my gacha luck were really fun, but my crowning achievement of the past 6 months in terms of pulling is Venti, because I've been playing this game for a whole year. I joined literally days after his banner ended, and I had to wait until he had a rerun a whole year later, and I saved for him, and I got a guarantee, and then I pulled him, and I'm so happy. Because he's literally one of my favorite characters in the game, like, by far. Leaps and bounds above everyone else. He's like a special character to me, and I finally have him, and I love playing him. The team I made for him is super fun, It's just, it was well worth all of the time that I spent waiting and saving for him. And I also got a bonus yunjin, so it was a very good day for me. I also pulled on April 1st, because I thought that that would be very funny and fitting. It did make me have to wait a few days after his banner went live, but I think it really was worth it. It made for a very fun day.
Moments of birth.
I managed to convince my older sister to start playing Genshin Impact, and I love doing co-op with my siblings, because my brother and I play co-op, like, all of the time. Like, we just do normal stuff, but we also, like, play some, like, fun, made-up games or whatever, like, resinless behavior, basically, a bunch of the time. But getting my sister into it is really fun, because I get to walk around with a low AR player and just see her experience everything. And also, I got to now design a room in my Serenity pod for her, because I did that for my brother, and then I was like, oh, I have a free room. I better do that for her. So it's like a Mondstadt-themed room, and I put Kaya in there, because she likes Kaya. I think I took him out at this point, because I needed more space, but I could put him back in. I have an empty slot, so I probably should just throw Kaya back into the pot, because that room is empty otherwise. I finally got to participate in Wind Trace, which is the most hilarious and tension-filled part of Genshin Impact, and I really hope that they, like, continuously bring it back every year in some capacity. That game. Like, you think, like, the main part of the game, like, the main part of Genshin Impact should have parts that are extremely tense and extremely stressful, but no. Wind Trace, oh my gosh, I'm, like, so bad at it. But I kept playing it, because I was like, no, maybe I'll find a good place to hide. But I'm really not good at it. It's really funny, though. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of the time I would be, like, trying to move or run, but I would still be in my shape, like, in my form, and it's just like, I am a barrel, just sliding around Ton Winery. But yeah, I really hope they bring the game back. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that they reran it at least once and I got to catch it. So if they don't actually rerun it again anytime soon because they come up with, like, other co-op games for people to play, then I'm glad that I caught it when I did. Other than achievements, I've basically 100%ed the game so far, because I have maxed out all of the Archon statues, I've maxed out all of the parts of the map, like, even the special places, I've maxed out those, I've maxed out all of my reputation, I've maxed out the Frostbearing Tree and the Sacred Sakura Tree. There's only, like, a few things that I haven't completed, and those are just random achievements. But I've 100%ed a ton of the achievements so far. There's just a few things where I'm like, that'll take me forever. Like, the one where it's like, do a bunch of ley lines. And I'm like, no. I never do that. I never grind for anything except artifacts, and it's kind of a problem. But that ley line one is going to take me literally forever. The Abyss. So, I play this game for the story, not for the combat. Because I'm not that great at combat. I'm getting better. I'm definitely getting better at playing games with combat in them. But I'm not great. It's definitely a skill issue. But I finally was able to get all of the stars in, like, the main part of the Abyss. And I also, after a lot of pain and suffering in Floor 9, and eventually in Floor 10, I was able to successfully pass through both Floor 9 and Floor 10. And that is because I got Venti. Literally the day I got Venti, I went into the Abyss with the team that I had planned for him, and with my normal team, and then I automatically just was able to complete Floor 9 and 10. I don't think I 9-starred either of them, but I at least got 6 stars. And Venti makes the Abyss so much easier than it was before. Because before, if I wanted crowd control or animo, I had Lumine and Sucrose, and they're great and all, but, whew, Venti is, like, so much more powerful. I mean, he better be. He's the Archon, so I would hope he's more powerful than me. Oh, and this is, like, a much more recent development. The Venti thing was back in the beginning of April, but much more recently, I did finally get enough stars in floor 11 in one of the cycles where I was able to get into floor 12. I didn't get past the first chamber, but, like, I got in, and that means a lot, because I can barely ever, now, even, get through floor 11. It's just a nightmare. So, it's gonna take a while before I get to the bottom of floor 12, definitely, but ideally either I just keep building my characters that I have until they're really strong and they can do it, or I pull a character in the future that's like, yes, now it's easy. I have a feeling Kazuha might be that thing for me, because a lot of people use him in the Abyss, so he's gotta make it a lot easier. Just keep pulling Animo characters until I beat the Abyss, that's the strategy. I'm some mix of Amber, Venti, Xiao, Kuching, Albedo, and Bennett, and my brother said that that makes me a synthetic Adepti Qixing Outrider Archon. And that was before. He came up with that idea before I ended up adding Bennett to this list, so I don't know how he would add that in, but yeah, those characters definitely are the best summary of me as a person, using Genshin Impact characters to be like, yep, that's me. For about 2 months, give or take, because I don't remember exactly how many weeks I did this for, but I did what I called challenge weeks, where I put every single character that I had at the start of these challenge weeks into a random, like, character list generator. And I generated, like, I randomized the list, and then divided it up. Every 4 characters were another team. And so each week, I would have to do everything in the game except for going into domains. I was allowed to go into domains with whatever characters I wanted to. But open world, and like anything open world, I had to use the 4 characters that were randomized. And each week, it refreshed. And I was able to then use the next 4 characters. And some teams were a lot of fun, and were not that hard to play. And then other teams were a lot more difficult. And a few of them I was just like, I can't take it anymore, because it just didn't work out, because some teams had, like, an extremely well-built character who was able to carry everyone else, even if they weren't as well-built. And then other teams were just 4 sort of unbuilt characters to, like, fully unbuilt characters, and those weeks were not fun. I think 1 or 2 weeks I just, like, forfeit near the end and was like, I can't do it anymore, and switched over to the next week's team. Because I was like, this is not fun anymore, and I want it to stay fun. But I'll feature, if I haven't already been doing it, I'll feature some of the teams that I used on the screen, so that you know what I went through. Because it was fun, but it was also a nightmare. I completed Arataki Ito's story quest, and I honestly have to say, it is one of my favorite story quests from beginning to end. Because there's some other story quests that I really liked, but I didn't like 100% of the time. Or also story quests that I thought were really good, but just for some reason they're not, like, my absolute favorite. Like, I really did like the, Zhongli quests. They're not my favorite, though. But Ito's is, like, one of my top 3 favorite story quests. It's so good. If you haven't done it yet, please do it. Unless you don't like Ito. If you dislike his personality, then yeah, don't do it. But if you, like, can put up with Ito / enjoy Ito, then give it a shot. Because I think Ito is hilarious. His voice actor is great. Ryuji, voice actor. Great voice actor. Also, I think I've discovered that one of the reasons that I like Ito is because he gives me Kaito vibes sometimes. And so, like, I was kind of destined to end up liking Ito because of that. Because I have a problem. Now, this story quest was kind of just whatever. I thought it was fine. But Ayato's voice actor is Chris Hackney. It's Dimitri from Fire Emblem. The voice fits so well. As soon as I learned that Chris Hackney was voicing him, I was like, yes, it's going to be great. It fits so well. I like what he brings to the table, and also, he's a well-performed character. Also, him and Toma are great. I want more scenes with him and Toma. So I started an alternate account, I guess you could call it. I started an EU account, because, you know, I wanted to be able to replay the plot, like all the Archon quests, because it has been a year since I played the game, so especially the Mondstadt Archon quest. I hadn't done that since I had started playing the game, because I finished the Leeway Archon quest in, like, October of 2021, so, like, that's a little bit more fresh in my mind, but Mondstadt, nope, was definitely forgetting, like, tiny details that are kind of, like, lore important, so glad that I went back to do that. But in order to make playing on this account more exciting, though, I decided to come up with a challenge, and it's the first characters and weapons that I pull are the characters and the weapons I have to play with. So if I pull a character on the standard banner, and I'm only really allowed to pull on the standard banner, unless characters that I've already pulled are all being featured on the, like, limited time banner, and I'd only be pulling to get their constellations, that's when I can pull on the limited time banner. But in general, in theory, I'm only pulling on the standard banner. So I pull on the standard banner, I get a 4-star character, I pull on the standard banner, and I get a 4-star weapon. Once I pull a 4-star weapon that they can use, that becomes their weapon, and I can't take it off. So even if it's garbage for them, like, say, I pull the bell, which I haven't yet, I don't want to pull the bell, but say I pulled Beto, and then I pulled the bell, I'd have to put the bell on Beto, and she's not allowed to put on any other weapon. So, that's the premise. And so far, I've pulled 8 characters, so that's 2 full teams. And the first team is Fischl with a stringless, Diluc with a Favonius Greatsword, Rosaria with Dragon's Bane, I think? Is it Dragon's Bane? Yeah, Rosaria with Dragon's Bane, Razor, who doesn't have a weapon yet, because I need another Claymore, but Razor, and then on my other team, it's Ayaka, who has the flute, and Sayu, who also doesn't have a weapon, because I need a bunch of Claymores. Please, give me Claymores, I need them. And Xingqiu, who has the Favonius Sword. I think he has the Favonius Sword. Yeah, Xingqiu, who has the Favonius Sword, and then Toma, who doesn't have a weapon, but he might. At this point, no, he doesn't. Toma also doesn't have a weapon. So, those are my 2 teams, and I have a bit of shame, because the 2 5-stars that I got on early pity. I pulled Diluc very early. I pulled him at, like, 28 pity. But then, when I was pulling on Ayaka's banner, because it had Rosaria and Razor, I ended up getting a Sayu, which is great and all. But I pulled Ayaka at 20 pity. What makes it worse is that I pulled her at 20 pity while my brother was waiting to pull for her. He was waiting to save up to pull for her. And I just got her without even wanting her. I'm sorry. I finally reached friendship level 10 with Kaya and Amber, and, like, it's what they deserve. As people who were on the OG team, everyone's OG team, honestly, probably, except for the few people who, like, literally pulled as soon as they could and then got 4 stars. How you would do that, I don't know, but you'd have to be really lucky. Even I'm not that lucky. I was stuck with the same characters for a long time. But yes, both of them are friendship level 10, and I'm very happy for them. Not using their name cards, though, but that's because they just don't match with my boy Chongyun, who's been my profile picture since I pulled him, and he's not going away unless they create a character who's better than Chongyun in every single way, which they never will. I tried to build a damage-dealing Yunjin, and like I did this with a broken set, but she can actually deal damage. I love how she plays. I also just love her. This character, Yunjin, he's great. I love her. Of course I do. She's a theater girl. She's a music theater girl, so of course I would love her. But she's so much fun, and I really need to spend time and actually get her a full set. I have to go get stuff in the Husk domain. But once I actually bother to do that, I'm going to try and rebuild her broken set with a good set, which might actually be harder than I think, because her current broken set has some of, like, the highest, like, crit rate and crit damage rolls out of any of my artifacts. Which means I really should just be keeping her broken set on her, probably, and then just, like, upping her talent levels, because I bet she could do some serious damage with the kind of stats that she has right now. I'm very proud of her, and she can only get better from here. Now, someone I should be proud of, but, like, I'm not as proud of, because it's kind of annoying, is I maxed out Child's artifacts, and then I, like, went around to, like, see what he could do. That boy can hit such high numbers sometimes. He now has taken over Barbara as my highest, like, crit damage dealer. And it's gonna take her a while to surpass him, because this boy, with a Bennett buff, has hit 78k, and no one else except for Barbara can come anywhere close to him. And honestly, I'm at the point where I'm like, I need to just stop playing as him, because he's too powerful, and I want my account to be a Barbara Supremacy account, and it can't be that if I'm paying any attention to Child. He doesn't even have, like, super high talent levels, and his artifacts are, like, okay, but they're not, like, incredible. He scares me. That boy is scary. But I like playing as him, but I also don't want him to just out-damage Barbara forever and ever, because perfecting her build is taking a while. He's just getting revenge, because he wants to be my Hydro main DPS, and I'm not letting him. So I was dealing with a war of attrition. The Furnace quest, the one that ends with, like, you having to fight off all those Fatui, I could not beat that for the longest time. But then one day, after, like, trying for, like, forever and ever, I apparently built, like, a team that could do it. I had Child and Bennett and Chongyun and Kuching, and I had a bunch of food buffs, and, like, people died, but, like, I revived them eventually. Kuching was the only one who made it alive in the end. She probably had to get revived at some point, but, like, the person standing when everyone was dead was Kuching. And that... I lost so much that day in the war. I never want to do it again. If they ever make a quest that's like that again, I'm going to lose my mind. Because I had that quest in my, like, quest inventory, whatever you want to call it, for so many months. It's finally over. They drip marketed highshow, and I want him so bad. He's perfect. Of course I want him. He's a stinky detective animal boy. He's everything I love in a character. And also, like, he punches things. That's always fun. Get to beat up people with a stinky detective animal boy. And since he's a 4-star, he'll almost definitely get released with, what are they called? It's, like, so late. This is why I can't remember words. A hangout quest. He'll have a hangout event. And I cannot wait for highshow. The only problem is, he's 4-star. which means there's like no guarantee of getting him. So fingers crossed, I get highshow. And all of my good luck does not suddenly turn into bad luck just because I really want a 4-star. Because we know what happened with Toma. But at least this time, I think I have a bit more wishes to go through. So I have a bit higher of a chance. But again, there is no guarantee I will even get a single highshow. So like I said earlier, my main team has become Lumine, Chongyun, Barbara, and Kuching, and I don't necessarily play it probably the way that I should. Like a lot of other teams are like, here's a rotation, or they're extremely synergistic with each other, and this team is kind of just like, how would you like 3 DPSs and like sub-DPS support Lumine? I don't even know what to explain any of them as, but I'm building Barbara and Kuching and Chongyun all as DPSs, and I'm also trying to build Lumine as a DPS, but she definitely does the least amount of damage out of everyone else. But that's only for now. It's also because she has the lowest talent levels of everyone overall, so she'll make it one day. She just has gotten not as much attention as she should have. But everyone else, they're doing great things already, and I'm not even done with them yet. Everyone in my team is an ascended level 80. I haven't level 90'd anyone. Like, I plan to do it at some point. But everyone in my team, the 4 of us are the only people who I've level 80'd. Everyone else is like level 70 and below. But we're special. We're all an ascended level 80. Barbara took a little bit to get there, because the Oceanid is kind of hard for me to fight. But she's finally there. Chongyun, though, was the first. Chongyun was the first one that I got an ascended level 80 of. He's the first person I level 90 their weapon of. Now all of us have level 90 weapons, so that's fun. He's also the first person I got to level 10 friendship with, because of course he is. He's my favorite. My one regret, though, with Chongyun is, so everyone else on my team has, like, normal, make sense builds. Kuching's on full gladiators, I'm on full viridescent, and Barbara is on full wanderers. Chongyun, for some reason, I ended up building him at some point on 2-piece emblem and 2-piece the cryo set. Forget what it's called right now. And I don't know why I build him with 2-piece emblem. I don't know why. So we're currently trying to fix that, but you know, the RNG of getting artifacts is kind of hard, so it's not going well, but Chongyun's improving. Even though his artifact set is kind of busted right now, his stats are constantly improving. Slowly but surely, he's getting better stats. And also, he's on the path to getting triple crowned, so yay, my boy. He's perfect. As a being, he's perfect. As a damage dealer, he could use some work. But, like, he definitely does more than most of my other characters. Not on that team, necessarily, but, like, everyone who's not on my main team, he can probably outdamage. Except for Child. But that's a different story. We don't talk about that. I don't know when I realized that I should start building DPS Barbara. It might have actually been an accident. I might have just rolled her healing pieces really well, and then realized, I shouldn't build her as a healer, I should build her as a damage dealer. But regardless of why I realized that DPS Barbara was possible, DPS Barbara is now a thing that I am fully committed to. And it is so worth all the pain that I'm going through. Because to get a full set of Wanderers takes so much time and patience and luck, and it's just... But Barbara's able to hit such high numbers. If I build her in the right team, like in my normal team, very specific situations can have Barbara do okay numbers. Her like full potential is unlocked if I put her in a team with Pyro Resonance and also Bennett buff, and also I'm only fighting the Pyro Hypostasis. But I've managed to get Barbara to deal 51k on a charged attack on the Pyrostasis with the Pyro Resonance and with the Bennett buff. And I think that's it? Yeah, I don't remember if I had her E on. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Not like it gives her all that much stuff bonus. It's like a 15% hydro damage bonus, something like that. But, I mean, any bonus is a bonus. Also, she has Witsith bonus. Because I put Witsith on her, because of course I did. She's DPS Barbara. But, yeah, so Barbara has been able to hit 51k. It's not as high as Child's 78k, but one day it could be. And higher. Especially if I... I'm debating if I want to unbuild Child in case someone needs his artifacts. I might steal from him, just so that Barbara can more easily dethrone him. He's had his fun in the sun, but I don't want him to out-damage her just by existing. Okay, so again, we're kind of going all the way back into early December, but I finally met Albedo, and I love Albedo. He's just a fun alchemy painter, babysitter, investigator person, and he's so smart. He also has a great voice, and he has great hair and a great outfit. Like, honestly, out of all of the characters' outfits that I'd want to wear, he's like one of my top options for sure. Albedo ended up reminding me how much I really like the eye designs of characters in Genshin Impact, because, I don't know, his eye design is just one of my absolute favorites. Venti was like the OG eye design where I was like, oh, I like characters' eyes, but Albedo was the eye design where I was like, wait a second, everyone has cool eye designs. Why have I've been overlooking this very, like, well thought out detail of all of these characters? But Albedo, it's so simple, but it's so pretty. So Zhongli. I did his second character quest, and in the second half of it, I don't know how to feel. I really don't know how to feel about Zhongli. And just the quest in general. I mean, it's a great quest, but it's one of those where I'm just like, I don't think I'll have ever fully, like, absorbed the experience of some parts of this game, because I just can't decide how I want to feel. I think I'll have to experience, like, more Zhongli content, although even more recent Zhongli content has not made it any more easy for me to decide how I feel about Zhongli. I think he's cool, I think he's great, but also at the same time I'm just like, the lore of this game hurts my brain sometimes. It's so well done, but also, ow, I'm kind of dumb, because it's too much. I can't hold this much lore, and there's only more of it to come, so hopefully it makes it a little clearer and opens up a little more space, because I could use it. After having Zhongli show up in multiple places in Liyue after the Lantern Festival, I think that's what it was, the Lantern Rite, I would love to have Zhongli show up and just be my history professor. Because I love listening to him talk about Liyue. It makes it feel like a real place, and I just want Zhongli to just show up and be like, yes, hello everybody, today you're gonna learn about Liyue. You're gonna learn about this place where they make the good tea. I want to go to that place. He keeps talking about it. People are talking about this great tea place in Liyue, and I'm like, then let us go there, please. I hope it's great. If it's underwhelming or they never take us there, I will cry. I had other priority hangout events to get around to doing, but I eventually got around to doing Bennett's hangout quest. And I love Bennett. I want to be on Benny's adventure team. That sounds fun. Like, I'll put up with Bennett getting struck with lightning, me getting struck with lightning, I don't know. I'll put up with anything for Bennett. He's great. I just want to be his best friend. He's just a good boy. Also, Royce's voice actor in his hangout event, I think I'm, like, the only person who, like, enjoys Royce, and it's really just because his voice actor does such a good job. I don't know who it is, but I want to know who voices him. Because there are some NPCs in this game where I'm like, more of them, please. They're so good. His conversation with Bennett is just peak. 10 out of 10. Would adventure again. So I'm pretty sure I brought up Toma in my last favorites video, but I'm gonna bring him up again, because since I brought him up the first time, I've only fallen deeper in love with him. And I tried to prevent myself from falling in love with him. From the moment he was introduced, I was like, oh, this is a boy that I would be like, yes, great character, love him. From his introduction, I was like, hi, hello. But I was like, no, you did that with Child. You can't do that with Toma. You have to give him a chance to prove himself before you just accept him as a character you like. And then I ate Hot Pot with Toma, and I was like, okay, everything's changed. We're in love with Toma now. He's perfect. And since then, just all the good Toma things. I did his hangout, and fell in love with him even more. I got Toma lore, which is something I want more of. I want more of Toma lore. I want more of everyone lore, but I want more of Toma lore. And also, I got to see Toma and have him do hangout animations, and those were... I love seeing characters that I love do hangout animations, because it's so precious every single time. Toma has 100% become a comfort character. My only other comfort character that I know for sure that's in this game is Venti, and like that was like from the get-go, but Toma has become a comfort character. And I hope that he's in more Inazuma events, because I really want more of Toma. I like Toma so much. Great character. So comfort. So, Inazuma makes me cry. Why? I don't know. I do know. But I've cried and gotten emotional at too many things in Inazuma. And the thing that kicked it all off was Yoymia's quest. I kind of didn't care about Yoymia's quest. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like one of those throwaway quests, because there are a few of them. Yoymia's was just okay, and I wasn't really attached to Yoymia's character. And then we got to the end, and the fireworks went off, and I started crying. And ever since then, Inazuma has continued to make me cry. Most distinctly, the Rue quest and the Fatui Shimatsuban quest both made me emotional / cry. Anything can make me cry, apparently, but Inazuma does it most effectively. So I finished the Archon quest for Inazuma, and I can't really give spoilers, so I'm gonna have to be really brief with, like, trying to, like, dance around things that I like without saying anything about them. But there's kind of 3 things that I just want to put out into the world about the Archon quest. And that is Teppei. He's the Ignat's voice actor, and just... Teppei is so great. I'm so happy we got to hang out with him. And also, 2 words. Kainahara Kazuha. Because of course. And then, finally, Scaramouche. I don't know how to feel. It's complicated. But, yes. Scaramouche, great. Also, oh my goodness. But yes, more. Please come back. I really need to go watch cutscenes from Unreconciled Stars, because I need more of him. And currently, we have not gotten more of him. So, more, please. I finally got to experience my first lantern rite, and I'm so happy with just the whole experience. It was great. Especially the way that I first witnessed Liyue all decorated and stuff, because I was just like walking into Liyue, and I just saw all of the lights, like all of the lanterns floating in the sky, and I literally gasped when I saw it, because it was so pretty. Like, even during the day, Liyue was just so pretty and so well decorated, and just... I love it when this game can just blow me away. Like, I had expectations of, like, of course, it's pretty lights in the sky, and I bet there'll be fireworks at some point, and I bet I'll get emotional and happy and cry. But it was so much better than that. Just, I hope that they keep having Lantern Rite. I bet they will. I bet of all the events that they would continue to do every single year, I have a feeling Lantern Rite is one of them that they would keep doing, and I'm very glad about that, because it's just beautiful. I love it so much. I love big events like this, because it means not only do you get to do, like, a ton of, like, mini-game type of, like, game challenges, whatever, over the course of the event, but you also get to pretty much talk to every single character from that part of the game, which means every single Liyue character shows up somewhere in the event quest. And it's just... I love them all, and they're all just... they're all so special, and then they all show up in the final cutscene with all the fireworks, and... you know that I cried. You know that I cried at the fireworks. It's because... I just love fireworks in Genshin Impact. They need to stop having events with fireworks in Genshin Impact, because they need to not break me any more than they already have. But yeah, if we go to Subaru and there's fireworks at any point, I'm gonna lose it. There shouldn't be. That would be very... I would be confused if we just suddenly got fireworks. But if Liyue and Inazuma keep having fireworks, I think that can be just as effective as it always has been. I know a bunch of people are like, no more kuching. Stop having kuching being the main character of all of these event quests. But I'm so fine with it. As someone who loves kuching, I'm so fine with it. We got to do Moonlight Merriment, and we got to do this one, and I'm like, it's also, since they still don't have a kuching character quest, I'm like, this is basically kuching's character quest. If you completed the Moonlight Merriment quests, and you completed the Lantern Rite quests, I'm like, you've experienced kuching, backstory, lore, personality, whatever you wanted to get out of kuching. You at least got a little bit of it from those, so I'm very happy about it. Although I do hope next time that I get to do a big Liyue event that it's not kuching, because there's a few other characters where I'm like, well, we need to spend some more time with them. They're kind of on the sideline and they need more attention. Like Chi-Chi. We need more Chi-Chi content, so hopefully we get more Chi-Chi content. The favorites though are Xingqiu and Chongyun. Always the favorites to visit, so don't necessarily need them to be the protagonists of a future event, but we just always need to visit them in Qingce Village. Only in Qingce Village. It's like Chongyun can't leave. He can't leave that area. Unfortunately, poor Chongyun, he just wants to adventure and purge the world of evil spirits, but he can't leave Qingce Village, and he must hang out with Xingqiu anytime we actually spot him there. So the Drinks of Dreaming, event actually ended up exceeding my expectations, because I kind of thought it was just gonna be like, oh, you're just gonna, like, make drinks and serve them. I didn't know that you were gonna make drinks for Mondstadt characters, and then get to give them to them, and then you talk to them. I mean, there's also characters who are not from Mondstadt, but, like, you get to talk to people and give them drinks, and it was just, it was so much fun, and also the drinks were interesting. Like, there's some weird combinations, but, like, I honestly want to try some of those combinations, because someone thought of them, and they were normal enough somewhere that, like, they would put it in the game and act like people actually drink it, which means people do. Some of them were so strange, though. But I kind of want to try them. If I try them, I'll definitely try and update you on what they tasted like. And if they're worth trying. Talking to Kaya reminded me just how, like, little I've actually gotten to talk to Kaya. And he was just as, like, confusing to read as ever, but also a joy to talk to. Great as always. 10 out of 10 would talk to again. And we got to make a drink for D-Luke, and he, like, actually seemed, like, genuinely happy and calm, and he was kind of like opening up a little bit. I mean, he's also like D-Luke, so he kind of doesn't say everything or anything sometimes, but I feel like D-Luke's growing and changing, and it just feels so good, and I hope that that's not going to backfire. Ideally, they just write D-Luke into a place of being happy, and then write Kaya into a place of being happy, and then write them into a place of being good, happy brothers together. But, you know, that might not happen. But we can all hope. Desperately hope. I just want D-Luke and Kaya to be happy. They've been through so much. I just want them to be okay. The fact that Shanhua came all the way from Liyue to Mondstadt to order a drink because we're friends, it's just, I love Shanhua, and I really hope that we get to hang out with her a bit more in the game, because we ended her quest with being like, yeah, we're actual friends, Shanhua, and we're gonna like hang out and stuff, and then I'm just like, bye! Never gonna see you again. And I just feel like that's the ultimate betrayal, and I don't want to do that. So I hope we get chances to hang out with her a bunch more, or else I'll feel really guilty and bad about everything. This event is the only event that I have an exclusive name card from, because I think with every other event that's had a name card that you can get in it, I've not been around to participate in it. So this was the first and only one so far. But I'm very glad that I have it. And it's proudly been displayed on my, like, name card showcase ever since, because I earned that. I was honestly kind of worried about the chasm. Not necessarily worried, but just kind of like, oh, it just sounds like the kind of place I'm not gonna care about it, like, vibe-wise. And I was wrong. Because, like, as soon as I showed up, the music started playing, and I don't know why I ever doubt the music in Genshin Impact. I'm like, oh, maybe it just won't have good vibes. The music does like half the vibes, and the music is always so good. And this place is no exception. And like, I'm not necessarily like the hugest fan of what the chasm looks like in like the above area. Like, it just looks like, I guess, how you would expect it to look. But like, it looks good though. But like underneath, there's some places in the chasm, if you like explore a ton, that are just like the mushroom place. I love that place. It's so the little hidey hole. I just this game just surprises me again and again with the locations that I find in it, where I'm just like, ah, this is why the game is designed with places to sit down in random locations. Because you just want to look at the scenery. Even when it's simple, it's still pretty. This is also technically chasm music, but after you meet up with Dainsleif, the music that plays around that time is like kind of like abyss chasm music. It's so good. Just also, Dainsleif. Finally met Dainsleif again, and with Dainsleif comes lore, and I don't know how to feel about Dainsleif, and I don't know how to feel about the lore, and I don't know how to feel about Aper. I just don't. That's basically a summary of the Dainsleif quest. It's just like, I don't know what's happening, and I don't know how to feel about anything. And I hope that eventually, again, with every other thing that I've talked about that could change my opinion on things, I just hope that I'm happy and I understand things. Or not happy, but like, can resign myself to an opinion. Because currently, I have only complicated opinions on most things. Also, my heart hurts so much. And finally, the last thing, the most recent, quote-unquote, thing that I'm going to talk about is the Iridory Festival. So much fun. Such an interesting event. It was great. And when Albedo and Klee got off the boat, my happiness was honestly immeasurable. Because I love Albedo and Klee together. He's a great babysitter, older brother person for Klee. And also, just Klee being in Inazuma is me going to a new place, honestly. And also just Klee being happy makes me happy. And I also, at the point that I experienced the Iridory Festival at, it had been like 6 months or whatever since I had last seen Albedo. Because December was when he had his event, and also when I did his character quest. And I missed him. I missed Albedo a lot. And the wait was honestly worth it. Albedo's always worth it. Also, Klee and Yoymia, like, everyone was waiting for that to happen, but Klee and Yoymia were so cute together. I really hope that Klee can go back at some point, because I want there to be an event where Klee and Yoymia can actually make fireworks. And send off fireworks and stuff, because it's what they deserve. But also, I understand it's kind of dangerous. We don't want to blow up Inazuma. In terms of the actual quest for the Iridory Festival, I love the fact that we got to experience, like, investigator Albedo. Because we've really seen, like, alchemist Albedo being kind of investigatory. But this event we actually just got to see, like, yeah, he just goes investigation mode. And it's really entertaining to see. And also, it makes me excited for highshow, who's another investigator, and I'm hoping that they also show his version of being an investigator, because I love detectives, and everyone already knew that. I feel like, to sum up the Iridory Festival, it was very unique and also similar to previous events that we've had, because it's like, oh yeah, you can go to all these places and do these mini-games. But also, a few of the mini-games were very unique feeling, but also like, oh, the place is all decorated, but we're having people from Mondstadt and Liyue and Inazuma all in the same place. Like, it really felt special, and I really hope that they continue to have, like, oh, we can have a Liyue event now, where a bunch of people from all the places show up, and a Mondstadt event. So, I mean, Inazuma was the right place for us to have this, but I'm hoping it's opening the door to more stuff. Also, in terms of the end of the event quest, I feel like I've been had.